Hey guys, welcome back to Dirty Water with Dr. Sarah. Here I'm with Heather McDonald, and you probably recognize her from Chelsea Lately. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great. I'm in Boston. You're going to stay for my show right here at Laugh Boston. And it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Now, are you having fun here in Boston?
I mean, I really haven't done that much. Tomorrow, I'm going to get my hair done and walk around Newbury because it's nice weather out. Mm-hmm. Today, I got up so early to do radio press. Oh. And then yesterday, I got up really early as well in Boston, and I'm from LA, because I took someone else's bag home. This is the embarrassing part. I took home someone else's carry-on.
Was it anything good, though?
Carry-on. Not coming around the carousel.
Wait, you did it. You did this.
I took someone else's bag and, took off, got to waited for my other check bag, saw them both, got into a cab, got into the hotel, and then by that time it was 2 a.m. that I realized, so they're just come back in the morning. And I'm imagining this poor guy. I figured it was a man because it was locked.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I would have looked. And I'm just imagining him. He has some business meetings at a convention. He doesn't have his shaving. He doesn't have his pills. Like an older guy. Right. I just was like, oh.
His Viagra?
Probably, as a pharmacist. So, I just felt very Catholic guilt-ridden. So, yeah. So, tomorrow I have a nice full day of doing something fun. And it's nice out. Clearly, It's the end of the world. This is extremely warm for Boston in March. I was here this time last year, and it was you couldn't even walk outside. So, I brought so many extra clothes that I don't need. But
no, it's like summer right now.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, just enjoy it.
Exactly.
Left.
So you have this podcast.
Yes.
All right. And it's called Juicy Scoop.
Yes, it's called Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald. It's on PodcastOne. For people that don't listen to podcasts. Mine, I guess some you have to pay, but mine is free. You subscribe for free. You can go back and listen to any episode you want. There's, I think we're on the 39th episode. I do one a week that comes out new on Thursday. And it's been fantastic. I love it. I really care about the content. Some podcasts will waste your time, but I feel like mine is really fun, and I have a really loyal following, and I just started this thing called Serial Sister, where, I actually had a guest cancel, and I thought the one story that I haven't really shared with my listeners, because I've written everything about my life, my childhood, my husband, everything is in my stand-up and my books and on my podcast, but the one thing I hadn't shared is that I have this tumultuous relationship with my sister, which is sad, but there's also humor in it, because I can find humor in anything. So I'm it's such a long story. I'm going to do little chapters like Serial, the popular podcast Serial, and it's been really amazing. It's kind of like that untapped conversation that really hasn't been had. People always talk about their situation with their parents or whatever, but this is what do you do when you just keep trying to have a relationship with a sibling that is very destructive in your adult life?
I think I might have one. No offense, Amy.
Well, a lot of people have it. A lot of people have it, and there's different. And now I'm getting people writing into me, and and so I do that, as well as juicy celeb gossip that I just get from the tabloids, and I try to figure out what I think's going on, and then I always have a guest. And this past the latest episode, I have Erica Jane from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I saw that. Which is amazing, because on the plane I watched an old movie. I watched Best in Show. Okay. And all of a sudden, Jennifer Coolidge's character. Do you remember Best in Show?
I don't, but I love Jennifer. Anything with Jennifer Coolidge.
It was a parody of people that did dog shows, and this character of Jennifer Coolidge plays. It said she's this rich lady that's with this old man. With her lips. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this is kind of this is a little bit like Erica Jane, even though she was very pleasant. I mean, she's married to this girl on Beverly Housewives. She's married to this older guy, much older, very successful attorney, and then she's a Britney Spears singer dancer. That just sings at gay clubs. It's the whole thing's amazing, which is why she was chosen for the show. Oh. So I have different people and different comedians, and so it's been really, really fun, and I love doing it after doing Chelsea Lately for so many years, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. It's really kind of cool just to have your own thing every week and know that you have to deliver, but then you also get, the feedback every week too, so it's just really nice.
Well, it's really nice that you do that, and we have a lot in common with sex and relationships, and there's no holds bar on my show, except for some of the musicians. They get a little management's you can't talk about that.
And I'm
All right, but I just got my friend Tyler, and I gave him like condoms and toilet paper for his tour bus.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Yeah, right. You need those. So
Yeah. Right. Of course, it's always, that I'm always up for that. And I've been married for 15 years, but I have single friends, and my friend was just going through this whole. I must have spent 2 hours today talking about the amount of time between each text. Is he still interested?
Isn't that so ridiculous?
Because 3 days ago, he was texting 5 times a day.
Right, and then it stopped.
Now it's just one text and like, hey, and then...
Nothing.
And then does she still send a sexy picture tonight when she's out with her friends? Or I said, oh, no, you send the sexy picture and go, sorry, that wasn't for you.
Oh, yes, I like that idea.
Why don't you just pretend you're dating 2 other people? He's probably dating 2 other people.
Right.
So assume that.
Oh.
But then you just pretend you're dating 2 other people, and you didn't even notice that he didn't text you as much.
No, but we do know. I'm single too. I'm single too.
It's so hard. I don't know how you guys do it, though. I love hearing about it.
I could tell you so many stories. Oh my God. I get a lot of requests for TNA shots, and
So do I.
And I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Yeah.
But then I just said to one, I go, but chances are I probably won't go on a date with you ever because you just asked me that.
So you sent it to like a fan?
Or like, well, no, they're not fans. They're, they're hot and famous.
Yeah, when you get like Facebook private messages, and it's like, I'm always like, oh my God, like my husband's like, do you know you have all these private messages on your fan page? I go, no, I don't. This is great. And then I start reading it, and it's like, oh, I love the podcast. You make my Thursdays, and the other one's like, I want your pussy. You're like, oh God.
Yeah, great.
And then the saddest part is if I'm like, well, let me see what this person looks like. Then I'm like,
yeah. So then you had the show all about sex.
Right, and that unfortunately is not coming back, but it was super fun. It was Margaret Cho, myself, and we had a real doctor, real sex therapist. Yeah, doctor. Yeah, and it was great, and it was really fun. But that was kind of one of those things with TLC where when we auditioned for it, it was going to be called TL Sexy.
Okay.
And then when they called it All About Sex, I remember going, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to make it about that every time.
Right.
And also advertising and stuff, It's like we're on the seat, with the Duggard girls and the 600-pound people and and the little people. I'm like, oh my God, we're too thin and we're too tall to be on this freaking network. I just did not. But we did have fun, and that was unfortunate because I love that form and I love just talking about it, and so. But
do you think people are like? Oh, sorry. No. But do you think people are like shy about sex still? I like with my sex app. I don't know if you've seen the SAC app.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a card somewhere about it. Oh, okay. It's right here. It's all about who you sack.
Yeah.
In the SAC. So this is like a screenshot if you want to check that out.
Okay, great.
But I find that people are very they act like they're not, sexual or anything, and I feel like that's what happened to your show, which is unfortunate because everybody talks about sex, and there are a lot of kinky people.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of kinky stuff. I mean, what? I think that it was doing better. We doubled in ratings. I think that it was more of a advertising thing with the the title.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
because
I don't know, but it was interesting. But it's always okay, on to the next thing. What you
just gotta move.
The next thing's supposed
right.
to be,
Right.
So that's why it's I like to do a lot of different things, and I'm developing a lot of different shows, and I'm always who knows which one is going to be the thing, that sticks. It's when I started Chelsea Lately, I was oh, this will last 13 weeks, and then I'll have to, let my nanny go. I never thought it'd be 7 years, and then the thing that you think is shebang, you don't. So it's you just have to keep doing what you're doing, and then if something doesn't work out, you're well, I wasn't meant to do that, and you just have to keep telling yourself that. It's hard.
I'm glad you say that because that's what's happening with me right now.
Yeah,
so there's so many fires out, and we just don't know which it's going to take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you just have to know that the right thing will present itself, and you just have faith in it. Yeah.
So on Kiss 108, my friends heard you today, and they wanted me to ask you. They heard you were a big fan of dry humping. How's that going?
I am, and the thing about dry humping, it's very hard to do after you've had sex. And you really only dry hump leading up to it. It's a second, third base.
Right.
And it's also not something people do in their 40s, which is sad. So I'm trying to bring it back. My husband is not into dry humping, unfortunately. And but so then my friend, who I was counseling with, the guy that's not texting as much as he did last week, She has not slept with him, but they did have a good dry hump. So she knew to call me right away on a ride home so I could live vicariously.
Through the dry hump?
Yes. And I was like, oh my God, you know, is it 1996? Like, just tell me about it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't even with that one.
Yeah.
Guys, you should dry hump more out there.
Why not?
Why not? Bring it back. So you're taking your tour. You're here in Boston right now. You're going to Grand Rapids, and then you're going to be in Seattle. So you're going everywhere.
Yeah, I'm always sort of on tour. I have 3 kids, so I just try to do like not more than 2 weekends a month.
Okay.
Ideally, I like them like every other, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So I have like 2 in a row, then I have like 3 weeks off, then I go to Seattle. And so it's everywhere, and it's on heathermcdonald.net. And also, if you follow me at Heather McDonald on Twitter and Instagram, I'm always posting where I'm going next. Okay. So, but yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's always like a fun weekend, and the crowds are great. So
you get to see all the cities. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice.
You get to go to Dirty Water.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today. All right, guys. So make sure you go to heathermcdonald.net.
And listen to Juicy Scoop.
Oh, definitely listen.
PodcastOne. You can go right on your podcast app on your iPhone. Everyone has a podcast app, or you just go to the App Store.
Yep.
Subscribe, get it for free. Listen anytime you want.
Definitely listen because there's some juicy stuff there.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, guys.